Hello, everybody. I'm Kristen.
And I'm Rachel.
And this is So I'm Watching Riverdale. Lost myself. Season 7, Episode 5, Chapter 122, Tales in a Jugular Vein. Okay, I liked this episode. I don't have a ton to say.
Yeah, I don't either. I feel bad because I've just watched it.
Yeah. To begin with, the principal and that creepy doctor and then Mr. Blossom are all in like an old white man's meeting talking about how comic books are ruining the youth, and they have to bury the Ethel's parents' murders somehow.
Mm-hmm.
She's also been forced into a vow of silence at the Sisters of Quiet Mercy. So something's going on. They obviously know what's going on with the murder for these three men for sure. And so they're trying to demonize the comic books so that everybody starts thinking about that instead of the murders.
Right.
Because that's the real crime. So then basically the framing device is like a Treehouse of Horror thing where Jughead gets the job to basically write 4 stories overnight for Pep Comics. And then Veronica comes over to see if he wants to go see a movie at the theater with her. And he's like, any other time, yes, but I can't right now, so she sticks around and hangs out with him. Okay, the first story was poor Dilton Doily.
Yeah.
What did he... Well, he had written one already, but I don't remember what it was about, and we didn't see any part of it. But this one was called, like, Keep Your Head in the Game.
Mm-hmm.
So, Dilton's on the basketball team, which seems weird in the first place.
Yes.
He can't make a basket, a free throw, and so... all the rest of the team basically shoves him in a locker in the locker room, and he has to stay there all night, and if he doesn't make a basket, they're gonna murder him. But it turns out he is super claustrophobic, and he has a total psychotic break while he's locked in the locker overnight. So he gets an axe, and he chops off all of their heads, and then he starts making baskets with their heads. Love it.
Yep.
And Veronica seemed okay with that one. She was like, good for Dilton Doily when they came back to it. And he was like, yeah, I know, right? And this is where I kind of am like, I really only understand Veronica's complaint at the end about the last story. And even that, I'm willing to make concessions. But we'll get there when we get there.
Oh, no, I get it with Cheryl's, the leprosy one. I get it with that one.
Oh, right. That's right. There was for the Cheryl one. Okay. Well, that was more about Nana Rose than it was about Cheryl.
No, it was absolutely about Cheryl because Cheryl needed to feed her urges. And so her grandmother wanted to give her the chance, but so she has these earthly urges that she needs to satisfy.
Okay.
And so she's willing to infect unsuspecting men to satisfy the urges.
Okay. So that was the second one. That one was like, okay, they were all hilarious, if we're being honest.
They were
super hilarious.
Yeah.
So okay. I like understand it. What annoys me about how it happened in the episode is that it seems like now the conversation is over. Whereas I guess Jughead's like a little clueless about it, but like where if I were Jughead, I would have been like, look, I had to get these done like overnight. I can't be, I've got like 12 hours to do this. I can't be like catering or whatever. These are easy ideas that I came up with. I'm just putting it out there. It's not how I really think. But this Jughead without his memories and like I was saying during the episode, absent of all of the normal Jughead bullshit, is so much more like a puppy, just like Archie is.
Oh, absolutely.
That I think it's like that it wouldn't even have occurred to him that he was doing something wrong. I don't know.
Well,
I'm finding it very interesting.
I agree with you that there should have been a longer conversation because then like why couldn't he have said, yes, like I'm on deadline right now and I'm interested to hear your take on it. So maybe instead of going to the movies, like, why don't we go get coffee tomorrow? And then we can talk about how
you dark room and talk about sexual politics.
Exactly. And then we could have learned from there.
Yeah. So we talked a little bit about the Cheryl one, which basically was like Archie's car breaks down or like he gets a flat tire right outside of Thornhill. So he goes in, their power's out. Nana Rose is the only one like around. And so she says he can stay for the night, but he has to, once he's in his room, he has to stay in his room and he has to keep the door locked because she has a granddaughter who has sexual urges and can't be restrained by anything. And so obviously he unlocks his door and leaves it open, and she comes in and they have sex, and then the next morning Nana Rose is like, oh, well, she has leprosy. And you're like, whoa!
And it's highly, highly contagious, and it will eventually kill her, just like it will eventually kill you.
Yeah. And that's why Nana Rose is, like, just throwing nails on the ground outside to lure in unsuspecting young men to have sex with Cheryl. Or so Cheryl can have sex with them. I mean, kind of, like, good looking out, Nana Rose. Like, you know,
no,
like, ride or die, Nana Rose.
Yeah, but it's Cheryl's unearthly earthly urges that got her leprosy in the first place.
Sure.
So.
Okay, and then we had the Betty one.
Also, I hope you all know that when I say earthly urges, it's this. Heavily implied this.
It's not.
Girls be fucking, man.
There was a lot of, like, that's why God invented blank in this episode. I'm like, did he, though? Did God invent Sundays? Did God invent, what was the other one?
God invented high school.
High school. Yeah. And I was like, Veronica.
Yeah,
please.
I don't know. These, like, white men tribunal is, like, hitting a little...
It's awful.
Close to home right now.
Really
I'm just like, I don't need this at all.
So, the Betty one was, like a vanity morality tale, and she, like, felt invisible, and so she went to the salon to get a new hairdo, and they gave her a beehive, and she, like, she never took it down, she just kept hairspraying it, because everybody started giving her attention, and then it turned out that a black widow spider crawled in there, and laid a bunch of eggs that ate her brain. We also did get a Dr. Curdle Jr. in this episode, along with the first Nana Rose we've had all season. So, okay, I get this, too. And Veronica does rightfully say after, she's like, boys care about what they look like, too. They do all kinds of stuff like this, throwing weights around or whatever. And, like, again, yes, but I do think that there's something to say about the time period, too, where, like, men are way more invested in what they look like today than they were in 1955.
But they still having, like, outfits put together and slicking their hair back and...
I mean, of course, but there's always been so much more that goes into, like, being a put-together woman, and...
Well, yes, Kristen, it's because we need them to want to have sex with us.
I know.
Again.
But I'm trying to look at this through the lens of 1955 as well, where it's like, yes, that would be a story about a girl, like... how are you gonna get Archie's head infested with Black Widow spiders? Too much Dapper Dan?
It would be more like, it would be tearing muscles from lifting weights so much that he tore his muscles and poisoned his body.
That's not how that works.
Black Widow spiders are going to come into my hair and eat my brain through my hair.
If you use too much hairspray.
My God.
I actually have the biggest problem with the final one. I think Veronica went too hard too fast.
Yeah. No,
in her like,
if we're looking at it through the 50s lens, it was kind of surprising that she was like that she was there already, but I do kind of get it because I mean when did the Feminine Mystique come out?
I think the 70s.
Was it the 70s?
Oh, 63.
Yeah. So, there had been conversations about sexual politics and misogyny already. And if we're running with the whole thing about like Verona being a West Coast gal and whatever, like she would have that information.
Sure, but that's where I get a little bit annoyed because for me, this is not to say that you should be like, you know, pulling men out of their own bullshit or whatever, but it's like, and honestly, I'm gonna be so honest right now. I'm a little bit bummed if that's the end of the Veronica and Jughead flirtation because I was having so much fun with it. And if she's like full done with Jughead, I'm just gonna be like, why did you even start this?
Yeah.
If this is how you were gonna end it. So that's the thing for me. It's like no, absolutely, you don't need to be just walking around pulling men out of their own patriarchal brains or whatever. But it's like, why wouldn't she be like, how about we rework one or two of these? I'll help you. As opposed to just like, this is fucked up, Jughead, bye. I don't know. And so then the final story was Archie was dating Betty and Veronica, and they both knew about each other. So it was like every other night he was with one of them, except for Sundays where he could rest up because he's just like mainlining coffee the rest of the time. So when he won't take either of them out for Valentine's Day because he says he's taking his mom, they decide to go out together and see him out with Cheryl for Valentine's Day. So he didn't take either of his long-term girlfriends. He took a third girl out for Valentine's Day specifically. Like, all of these are so much worse about the men than they are about the women.
Yeah.
So they decide to get revenge on him, and they, like, lure him to the soundproofed shop class where they have promised him a three-way. And Betty wears like 3 amazing dresses in this little vignette as well. So he gets there and they tell him that he needs to drink more coffee because he's going to need all the stamina he can get to get through the night with the two of them. Hysterical. And it's laced with Betty's mom's sleeping pills. So he wakes up and he's strapped to the like, I don't know, just a table in shop class. And they literally cut him in half with a saw so that they don't have to share him anymore. Which is admittedly psychotic, but that's the thing is, like, this one specifically is about, like, female, for me, I guess, and this is where I can't think about it from the 50s. This is about, like, female rage and revenge and, like, I don't find that, then this is not the one they should have ended with. Then they should have ended with the one that was just Betty. Because this one is like, I can't really call it empowering, but I don't feel bad for Betty or Veronica.
No, you don't feel bad, but it still does not look awesome because it just makes women look crazy and psychotic.
Yeah.
Because they were jilted. And so therefore they go crazy and they
pushed to it.
Right. Yes.
By a man.
Right. But it's still, the women always still look bad because because remember all the dudes are out here like double dating, triple dating, fucking everybody, and it's just like, well, that's what boys do.
Sure.
And then it's because we participate in it and we shouldn't be, and so we should know better because boys are like that, so we should know better. So we get what we deserve.
So this is why I can't fully get on board with Veronica chastising Jughead so much, because in my mind, all of these stories are just kind of like the Lucille Bluth good for her gif, where I'm like, you know what? Yeah, get it. Like, I don't think you're crazy. I think you do the exact right thing.
I'm kind of with you there too, because it's just like, don't f me over, and then I won't have to do that. Yeah. It's like, that's not a resting state for me. If you push me to a certain point.
Sure, yeah.
This is a prison of your own making, my guy.
Taylor Swift, look what you made me do.
Yeah, exactly.
And
Mad Woman.
Yeah. So the other thing too is that after Veronica leaves and basically is like, no, I don't want to go to the movies with you. I'm going to go home. Jughead is writing something else. He was like typing again after she was gone. And it seemed like even after he had turned in the stories to the publisher. So I'm wondering if he like took the note and wrote something else.
Maybe.
I'm not willing to let go of this Veronica and Jughead thing yet.
Well, I mean, I still think there should be another conversation.
Yeah.
I'm just like, you can't drop like a society bomb and then be like, do it we will.
Also, I guess they were going to see Diabolique, but she talked about double indemnity at some point, and I was like, really? You're going to give him such a hard time, and you're like dying to go see a movie where a woman murders her husband so that she can get extra life insurance money? That's not better. I'm just like, I don't know. And she's driven to do it by a younger man, if I'm remembering correctly. Regardless, that's just the kind of stuff where I'm like, I mean, yeah, another conversation. Like, that's why I'm sort of hopeful he was like writing something else to like make up for it. I don't know. He's going to get his name in a byline.
Which is going to not be great because now the tribunal is going to go after him.
I mean, some of them have got to die. This Dr. Friedrich Werthers, first of all, his name is Friedrich, German. I think he's a Nazi. I think he might be a Nazi.
I can't take any more Nazis. I can't do it.
Okay, we finished Downton Abbey. Next on the list, The Man in the High Castle.
I've already seen the first season.
Yeah, I haven't seen any of it, so yeah, I don't know. I really did like this episode. I really have my fingers crossed that they weren't just like yanking my chain about the Veronica and Jughead. You made me like it, and now if you yank it away from me, I'm gonna be mad. You made me like it. You did this to me.
I don't know.
But the Betty and Archie seems to be heating back up in the next episode. So at some point, I think there's going to have to be a hiatus. And then like once we come back from the hiatus, I think it's going to be
present day.
Yeah. They always do like one. And somebody in one of our early episodes said the season ends like August 23rd. So there's going to be like, there's got to be a chunk.
Yeah.
So, all right. That was this episode. We will be back. Next week is May 3rd. Yeah, May 3rd.
God, it's going to be May already?
Yeah.
Crazy.
So we'll be back for that. Looks like Betty and Archie are doing some
get naked,
cross the window nakedness. So we'll see. And then, yeah. Please like and subscribe. Let us know what you think. And yeah, we'll see you next week.
Yep.
Bye.
Bye.